All right, friends, welcome to our early arrivers. We still have 7 or 8 minutes here before we get started officially. But let me know in the chat where you're tuning in from so that you guys can get to know each other and see how fun and global this call is. I'm already seeing North Carolina, I'm seeing Philippines, super fun. And yeah, we'll get started. If there's anyone that you have invited to be here, now's the time to let them know. There's 5 minutes and we're getting started. The Zoom's already open. And if you're here as a guest, we welcome you. It's going to be a great night together, and I'm sure you're going to love the content that we're going to be going through in this 45 minutes to an hour together. So we'll get started here in a little bit. Hang tight. All right, friends, we have 3 minutes until we get started officially. Grab a piece of pen and a paper. You're going to want to take notes. for those of you that are here live with us tonight. Um, and I'd also have a drink so that you can stay focused. We really have about 50 minutes to an hour together for this presentation. And so I always recommend being ready and set to focus in for the time. And I know we're going to have a great time. So we'll see you in just a couple minutes to get started. All right, all right, all right. Welcome out officially, my friends, to our intro presentation for the evening. Super excited to be here with you guys tonight and to share a little bit about the doTERRA business. Let me let a few more people in here that are coming in the waiting room. Those of you, real quick, a couple announcements. Those of you that are watching on YouTube, there's a handful of you. I recommend coming over to Zoom if possible, because you'll have the best experience as you participate in Zoom. We have the majority of people here, and the chat is where a lot of the fun happens. And I love to see all the answers of people in the chat, and I think you will as well. So if you're on YouTube, I've left it in the comments below the video, the link to join us on Zoom. But if you have a restriction and you have to watch on YouTube for some reason, then that's why we have it. So no problem. Yes, let me start this. Okay. So let me briefly introduce myself. I'm Matt Hall, and I've been selected tonight to give you a presentation and overview of the doTERRA business. And I always like to start these calls off in the same way, and that's with a little bit of gratitude. I've found that in my life, and maybe you'll agree with me, that gratitude is really the gateway to abundance. And so whoever invited you to this call tonight, I want you to send them a message of gratitude and say, "Hey, I don't even know what I'm in store for here, but thank you for the invitation." And the reason why I say that is, if someone, thought to invite you here today, it's because either one, you don't know anything about our products or our business yet, and they believe that you'd be enriched by this conversation. Number two, maybe you're someone here who loves our products. Are a super fan of doTERRA, and the people who shared it with you are like, "Hey, I want to show you a pathway to get your products for free." Or maybe they are hoping and they believe that you could benefit from the business, and they'd love to partner with you in our business. So independent of the reason why you're here tonight, it's because someone who cared about you put you here in the room. So send them a message of gratitude. And I'm just checking the chat here. We've got people from from North Carolina, Philippines, Missouri, Wisconsin, Edmonton, Canada. Where else? Put it in the chat. Tennessee. I'm joining here from Utah. Awesome. So we've got a really cool crowd, a good international group. Fun to have everyone here. And you guys are going to get to know each other a little bit as we go throughout the night, as we interact in the chat here on Zoom. All right. So briefly to introduce myself, this presentation isn't about me, but sometimes it's helpful just to know a little bit about the voice that you're listening to. My wife and I, we have been working in this business of doTERRA now for 13 years. Over a third of our lives, we've committed to sharing the message of this brand and the products and the freedom that can come from the business. And it's absolutely transformed literally every aspect of our lives. And we're going to walk through a little bit of that. But mostly, I'm here to just show you an overview of what doTERRA is. We're not going to go deep tonight into our products. We're going to talk about some of them overall and talk about trends and business trends and health trends in the world today. So if you haven't yet learned anything about our products, then after this call, you're going to want to get back with the person that invited you tonight for them to give you kind of some more in-depth information. Okay. And I'm curious, let me know in the chat if we have some people in the room that are already super fans of the products, that people who have already had amazing experiences with doTERRA. Let me know in the chat if you're a super fan. Leanne said yes. So we're going to be relying on some of your experiences as we go throughout this presentation tonight. Pam said yes. Amy said yes. Amy number 2 said super fan. Jen said 100% love it. Okay. Uh, Perfect. So let me just briefly introduce or tell you a little bit of our story and how we came into this doTERRA world. Really, my wife was living in Taiwan in across, the oceans, and she was going through one of the hardest emotional times in her life. For those of you that, and the majority of you especially are those of you that were invited here for the first time tonight, you probably, don't know my wife's story, but when she was 12 years old, her parents were out eating dinner on a date, and the 16-year-old who was her brother, who was taking care of them that night and babysitting them, for a reason that we don't know, he decided to take his own life. And it was with a gun, and it was tragic and terrible. And my beautiful wife, when she was 12 years old, heard a loud noise and ran to the room, and she had to be the person to witness this great trauma and tragedy that left. There's no way that doesn't leave scars on a person and on a human, right? And so later in Taiwan, what happened is really, some of those deep wounds were triggered, and she fell into another stage of dark, anxiety and depression and just profound sadness. And she was looking for something to give her some support emotionally. And a friend who had used Digescent essential oil, which is one of our products for digestive support, said, "Hey, I've never used these for emotions, but I hear that they help people in profound ways. And maybe you want to check them out." So she hunted down some little Taiwanese lady who was selling doTERRA, these essential oils. And my wife bought retail these 3 oils: Balance, Citrus Bliss, and Serenity. And they transformed the way that she took care of her health so profoundly that when she came back to the US and saw the name doTERRA on, a building and in a newspaper, she said, "Wow, those products helped me so much. I'd love to be a part of the mission." And a lot of people that come into the business side of what we do, that's how their story begins. They just have an amazing experience with the products that then they cannot close their mouths, right? When you find something that's life-changing for you, you naturally want and desire to change it to share it with others. And so that's kind of how our story began with the products. Today, doTERRA is a multi-billion-dollar company. They've done over $2 billion in sales annually. They've reached customers in over 150 countries, excuse me, and millions of customers. So we're not talking about, when we invite you to partner with us and come into this doTERRA opportunity, on whatever level you want to play at, we're not inviting you to come to some startup that's just starting up out of someone's garage. This is a very established brand that's creating a wellness revolution around the world, that has proven that these products produce amazing and even miraculous benefits for millions of people. And it's a pretty amazing thing. So as we go throughout our presentation, I want you to see things through that lens of, we've already proven that this is a successful model and business. And why might you desire and decide to partner with us? That's what we're going to be talking about tonight. Now, anytime I describe our business, I like to talk about the ILI formula, which is, in my opinion, the perfect combination of aspects that make a business the ideal business. And so I always like to ask people at this part, what if you were to start a new business today, or join a business, what would you be looking for? Like, what would be the ideal characteristics or aspect of a business that you would want to join today? Can I see in the chat some of your answers? Like, what would need to be part of the equation for you to be excited about stepping into a new business, right? Let me know in the chat. Time and location flexibility. So Miguel would want to be able to, hey Miguel, you can move over here to the US, buddy. No, no, no. You guys have the beautiful beaches in the Philippines, but that location freedom is pretty awesome. Having an impact in the world, Pam, you're gonna see that's my number one always. Is I think all of us feel a draw to serving humanity in some way. I think it's a part of the human condition on a spiritual level. One with solid foundation and debt free. Yep. You don't want to spend your time and invest your energy into something that is here today and gone tomorrow, right? We all want to build something that can benefit us long term. Yasmina said freedom. That's my favorite word. I love it. Beneficial to people and integrity of the company. Absolutely. Flexibility and freedom. I left the corporate world for time freedom and flexibility and financial freedom. Lots of money. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with making lots of money, right? She also said lots of fun, Amy. Time freedom, changing lives. I love it. Travel, find the niche in the market, freedom. Okay, there's so many amazing answers here. The ethics, cool. Family freedom. So you guys are similar to me, and my pitch to you tonight is that doTERRA is actually the perfect blend of these things. And I want you to think in your life about these three aspects: income, lifestyle, and impact. And in your personal life, which one of these do you feel needs a little more attention, right? Is it income? Do you feel a little bit stretched financially at the end of each month where, money isn't going as far as it used to, and extra funds would be a meaningful thing for your life? Having a scalable income that can even turn into an extraordinary income, is that something you're looking for? Is it more lifestyle? Maybe you have a good income. I have friends who have a great income, but their lifestyle suffers because they either work such crazy hours, or their work is so intense, or for any myriad of reasons, maybe they don't have a supportive community around them the way that they would like to. So we're going to talk about lifestyle. And the third is impact. And I find a lot of people, this is actually what draws them to us in doTERRA. It's interesting because you would think it would be only for the income, and that is a powerful reason. And we're going to walk through the benefits of the income. But I find that the best people are attracted to this company because they're people that want to serve humanity and lift others and have a powerful impact. So usually, these areas aren't perfectly balanced in people's lives. And we're not asking you to abandon whatever career you're in right now, but just to analyze where you might be out of balance and show you how doTERRA could fill a gap to balance out this illy formula of income, lifestyle, and impact in your life. So as we go through each of these, we're going to start first with impact. And this is the most important for me. So we're going to start and end talking about two different aspects of impact inside of our business. And I guess to set this up, I like to share, there are a couple ways that you can earn a great income in the world today. The first is if you help a lot of people with small problems, you'll be able to earn a great income. So an example I gave this morning is, let's say you start a business and you sell phone chargers, right? People have a problem where, I'm using one right now on the back of my phone because about halfway through the day, it's pretty much dead. I think these things are manufactured to die, right? And so someone who sells a phone charger, they're solving it's not a big problem for me. I could plug it into the wall, but it's portable. It's helpful. And so, that's a small issue that I have. If they can sell a lot of people on solving that small solution, you can make good money, right? A second way to make good money in business is to help a few people with really big problems. And the typical example we give is lawyers or doctors, maybe a surgeon who he can't help he can't help hundreds of people a day to do surgeries. He needs to work with just a small group of people, but because it's a big problem, they're willing to pay a lot to solve that problem, and so they make good money, right? But I would say the best opportunities that exist are the ones where you can help a lot of people, a large group of people, to solve big problems. And so that's what we're going to show you today with this opportunity. We're going to show you how some of the biggest problems in society today, we bring the solutions for, and we're able to do it at scale. Just our team, we have over 500,000 customers that we've been able to reach with these huge, huge solutions to big issues. So let's talk about this trend. We know that, now in 2026, we're probably over $2 trillion in global spend in the wellness market. And what are the top aspects that people are seeking to solve for, right? Think of yourself as a solutions provider when you're looking to start a new business or analyze this business, right? So first of all, 50% of the population is actively making gut health a higher priority. People are waking up to the fact that, our hormones are drastically influenced by our gut health, our emotions, our energy levels, the amount of nutrient uptake from the food that we eat. So much of it has to do with our gut health, right? So people are making this a higher priority. I like to start with this big problem because it's actually the one that brought me into doTERRA. For almost seven, I guess it was 7 years of my life or so. My mom can correct me, who's here. But for many years of my life, I had this digestive issue that I carried with me for all of those years, and had regular discomfort, and I was not doing so good. And my cute fiance at the time, she bought me or brought me a little sample vial of this essential oil called Digestion, which helps to regulate the digestive system. And, as the skeptical fiance at the time, I only used it honestly because I wanted to convince her to marry me. And so I was like, okay, I've got to use this, right? But I was really skeptical. And I was like, how is rubbing this on my stomach, putting it under my tongue really going to help me? And within a couple weeks, I felt totally balanced from this issue that I had dealt with for years. Okay. And I kept using the essential oil. And eventually it got to the point where I didn't need to rely on the essential oil anymore for that issue that I had dealt with. We also have our probiotic products. We have an amazing Terrazyme product, which is basically metabolic and digestive enzymes that help you to maximize absorption from your food and avoid, bloating and weight gain and things like that. And so just in our company, which again does billions of dollars in sales, this category has grown exponentially from, 1% in 2018 all the way up to over 5% of our global sales. This is pretty meaningful, right? I guess this is US sales. But this is pretty meaningful because it shows the trend and how many people are looking to solve for this problem. So I want to each category that I go through here, I want you to ask yourself, do I know anyone that struggles with that specific need? Right? And those of you that are already super fans of our product, I want to see in the chat your personal experiences with our digestive products, or the coolest experience that you've had helping a customer to benefit from our products. Go ahead and put those in the chat so that we can, show people and give people different ideas for how the products can help. Now we have a bunch of you watching over on YouTube. That's totally fine. But if you are on YouTube, the best chat experience is going to be over here. Is going to be over here on Zoom. So I've put the Zoom link in the comments below the YouTube video. I recommend clicking that link and moving from YouTube over to Zoom so that you can get the best experience and see all of these tips that people are going to be giving throughout this presentation. All right. The second highest priority that people, mention as a big need for them is sleep. And it's the one that people consider the biggest unmet need. I mean, how many of you walk around and you see people with bags under their eyes, or you see them with low energy and you think, wow, they obviously are not sleeping well. It's everywhere around you, right? We are saturated in so much technology and lighting, and there's just so many nutritional imbalances, so many things that cause us to not get adequate sleep. And I think all of you would agree that it affects us maybe more than any other aspect of our health on a daily basis. Like, it's so important for everything. And so this is a big problem. Can we solve a big problem for a large group of people? Yes, we can. We have clinical studies that show that our Serenity products help you sleep better, and you can literally reduce the biological age of your brain by improving your sleep using our products. Okay. We have the Serenity Oil. I like to rub a drop on my pillowcase, rub a drop on my feet before going to bed. The stick is my wife's favorite, and the supplement is another added support. So if you think to yourself, like, do I know anyone who has a hard time with sleep? If the answer is yes, then come be a part of this business. Let's bring the solution to these people, and you'll build a big business as you help people solve big problems. Next, do you know anyone who wants to age slower? And if you've had a good experience with our sleep products, put it in the chat. We want to see those testimonials. Okay. Next, let's talk about longevity. How many of you want to age gracefully, with energy, with high energy, with maybe a little bit less, a few less wrinkles, right? We have this assist product, which helps to balance blood sugar levels, peaks and valleys, so you have sustained energy throughout the day. Helps to also, every time your blood sugar spikes, you are aging, so it helps to reduce that. We have the soft gel product, which helps to inhibit fat cell maturation in the body. We all, I think, want to manage weight and know that that influences our health in profound ways. Our advantage is our collagen and NMN product, which is the coolest longevity product on the market, not only for external benefit, but internal. So this is 70% of the population is buying more products in this category. And I would argue that if you put us, well, I can show you comparison charts of our collagen, for example, against every other top selling collagen in the market and all of the ways that it's superior. Once again, we're not doing deep dive into the product today. I'm just giving you an overview and hoping that you'll go to the person that invited you here today to get the specific clarification and information. If you've had a cool experience with MetaPower, I'd love to see it in the chat. We have testimonials literally of people's eyesight improving from this product. Some just really, really cool things. Then our foundational products are a huge part of our business. 60% of people consider it extremely important to, to basically supplement using, for aging and longevity, just the core basic foundational nutritional type of products. And so our VMG, or our Lifelong Vitality Pack, are two different sets of supplements that we offer that are amazing for filling the gaps. We know that our food has basically 1/5 of the nutritional benefit that it used to have 50 years ago for so many reasons: commercial practices, pesticides, GMOs, all of that. And when you can help people have a baseline of nutrition, a baseline of filling the gaps. My wife and I, we are doing a monthly blood test actually to kind of evaluate hormones and nutrient levels and things like that. And it's what you'll find is really everyone is deficient. And so when you bring in these supplements, it just helps to bring people up to that foundational level of health, where then you can improve everything else so much more effectively. And the product category that we're the most famous for, obviously, is our essential oils. Still globally, about 70% of our sales are these little bottles that people get curious about. And they wonder, do they really work? How do they work? Why do they work? Well, if we do billions of dollars in sales with just this product category, it's because they work profoundly well. And think of our nutritional products as the building blocks that your body uses to create change in the body. And think of the essential oils as these messenger molecules that help with cell signaling to balance body systems. So for example, if you struggle in your respiratory system, our Breathe product is going to help balance your respiratory system, strengthen it, and help it to work the way that it was designed to work, right? And I believe we were designed. So that's why I use that verbiage purposefully, right? On Guard is for immune support. We have great oils for detox. We have oils for the cardiovascular system. We have oils for literally any health issue that you could bring. And I want you to put them in the chat if you're curious. Ask the people in this group that know about our products, hey, what would be the best oil for this issue? And I also want those of you that are familiar with these products to put your wildest testimonial, like the coolest experience that you have had from these products. I would love to see you put that in the chat, either yourself personally or with one of your customers. Here's the thing. Again, we're talking about solving big problems, but more than like, this is not just to make money, guys. The emotional revenue, when you're able to transform people's lives, like I'm already seeing some of these super cool testimonials in the chat. When you're able to help people's lives on a profound level, serving them with these kinds of issues, the emotional revenue that you get from impacting them is really, really profound. Okay. It's important to note that we are the only essential oils in the world that are consistently shown to be pure. And the APRC, this company did a test and found that there were three companies that were consistently pure. But at the time of this study, or since then, one of these companies is out of business. The other one is extremely expensive and open in very few locations. And so we really are the option globally for pure essential oils. This is important because universities like the Roseman University have done studies documenting that yes, essential oils help with cell growth, rejuvenation, metabolic health, anti-inflammation, and immune support. But when they analyzed other essential oils, they found that they actually had minimal or opposite cellular signaling effects. So remember, I said these are the messenger molecules. They help to basically retrain and reprogram your body to function the way that it's meant to. It's like hitting the reset button and but not a button. It takes time, right, to do that in the body as they're clearing off receptors on cells and helping just helping the body to function the way that it's meant to. But imagine, going to the majority, think of this opportunity. The majority of people in the world today are going to Amazon or they're going to Walmart and they're buying a frankincense to reduce inflammation, not understanding that it's not pure. And it's not, or even if it's pure, it wasn't distilled, it wasn't the right species of plant, or it wasn't distilled in the proper way. And so they're getting these minimal or opposite cellular signaling effects. They're creating inflammation from frankincense instead of reducing it, right? So this is a huge opportunity for us. We have become the largest essential oil company in the world, but there's still a lot of competitors out there that we can educate those customers on the difference. And that's important to do. There are more hospitals, clinics, and medical professionals and more moms, our doctor moms out there that use our brand than any other brand in the world. And so that should bring you, great confidence when representing these products. So on the impact, this is the question to kick us off is, can you impact people deeper than in their cells? Like imagine you being the person that helped create the testimonials that you're seeing in the chat right now, right? You're seeing some pretty cool stories. And if you were the person that introduced people that started using these products and had those benefits, imagine the gratification that you're going to feel by doing that. Also, just from a business perspective, think of the numbers. Average in our industry is that, if you bring in 10 people to buy products, only 15 to 20% of those people are going to come back and buy for a second time across the direct selling world. In doTERRA, we have this amazing return rate of 75% of customers come back to buy for a second time, and many of them come back to buy over and over and over again. And because our business model honors you, not only the first time they buy, we pay you a commission, but every time someone you have referred purchases for the rest of their life or your life, you will earn a commission. So that retention is important, right? You don't want to be starting over every month, just churning through customers. You want to build a database of customers that are ordering over and over and over again so your business can grow. And our retention is one of the reasons why, if you look at all of the direct selling companies, we are the youngest multi-billion dollar company in existence. There is no multi-billion dollar company that's been around for as short of a time as we have been. That shows you our growth, our momentum, the impact that we're having in the world, and the fact that customers are coming back over and over and over again. So that's our first impact category. Now let's talk about lifestyle. When it comes to lifestyle, I'll show you the things that matter to me, and they actually align with really the things that you guys put in the chat that matter to you. Funny how, we're very similar as human beings. We all want to be able to spend a lot of time with our family. We want to be able to be around our family and incorporate things with our family. I love that I've worked now from home for 12 years and 11 years around my children, since my oldest is 11 years old. And we've had opportunities to integrate family and business in really beautiful ways. Location independence. You can take your income wherever you want to go. So you can, and it's fun because, I really wanted to build a business and have customers in Brazil, a country that I had come to love and lived in for 2 years. So guess what? We have a big business there. Then we were like, you know where we'd love to travel and spend time? Oh, in Italy. So we started to build a team in Italy, and now we get to travel there. And we've spent months in India, in Brazil, in Mexico as a family because your income can go wherever you choose to go. So if you live in a big city and you want to be in the rural area, you can move there. If you live in a rural area and you want to live in a different country or in the big city, you have the freedom to do that and bring your income with you. Work amount. Some people are really ambitious and they want to work a lot. And I have friends who complain because their companies won't let them work more than a certain amount of overtime when they want to because they're ambitious. And I know other people who come into doTERRA and they just want to do this as a hobby and work minimal hours to make their products back for free. That's okay. Whatever you want, you're able to work the amount that you would like. The benefit of the friends and community is absolutely powerful. Being surrounded by people that are uplifting, that are focused on personal development, that are looking to grow themselves and create a wellness revolution around the world. It's an amazing community to be a part of. And there are all of these side benefits that you'll find. So if you have a business, let's say you are a mechanic, as soon as you come into this community, you're going to find that your doTERRA friends, that you're automatically inserted into this big community, they are going to want to come to you to fix their car, right? So your whatever else you do as a career, if it's insurance, if it's real estate, or whatever it may be, is by locking into a solid, strong community, your other business ventures are going to grow as well. And few people think about that benefit. Now, free travel. I'm curious in the chat. Let me know, those of you that already work with our products and promote our products, what is one place that you've traveled for free thanks to doTERRA? Let me know in the chat. This is always kind of fun to see. We actually just got an email recently that in June we get to go to Hawaii to the mountain reserve there. So Jen's been to the Dominican Republic for free. That's amazing. Who else? Bulgaria. That's awesome. Hawaii, Oregon, Dominican Republic. A bunch of people were just barely in the Dominican Republic. So there's all of these trips that doTERRA runs where you're able to qualify and go and have these amazing experiences. It's a benefit that people don't really think about, but that's an awesome lifestyle benefit where you don't need to pay to have a vacation every year. You can get one for free just by doing the normal business activity that you would do anyway. Then you have time freedom, the freedom to really, work where you want, however much you want, and scale a business by leveraging the time of building a team. And we're going to talk about that next. So let's talk now a little bit about the income side and how it works. I'm also going to map out for you a very specific plan of what I would do if I were in your shoes getting started to get into what we call the Comma Club, where you're earning $1,000 a month. I'll show you a very, very clear roadmap to do that. Okay. But when it comes to income, rarely can you find a place where you can build over the long term a scalable residual income that can last for decades, right? So this is actually a screenshot, a graph of our income from the month that we started all the way until our last rank advancement. And we only take this screenshot after each new rank advancement. Why? Because there are going to be periods of ups and downs. So when you zoom in, you'll see sometimes we had a year of decline or 6 months of decline or 9 months of decline. But over the long term, as you build this business, it will become something that can truly set you free. Like these little bars down here that you can see, it actually represents $5,000 or $6,000 in monthly income each of those months. How many people could go to their job or their profession or their boss and say, "Excuse me, sir, I'd like you to pay me 10 times more next year, starting next year," right? Maybe in a few select places you could do that, but it would take here, it doesn't necessarily take a massive amount of more time invested. It takes more strategy and more some skills to be able to leverage your income as you lead a team of people. And we'll talk about that. But anyone could come to me in doTERRA and say, "Matt, I want to earn 10 times more." And I would be able to map out a roadmap for how they could do that. And that's really, really empowering and fun. Oh, we got some more trips in the chat. Maui, Costa Rica, Jamaica. So fun. Now, how does the business work? If you decide to step in, here's how the income works. You really get paid for three different activities. You get paid one for acquiring new customers, okay? Two, you get paid for retention, and three, duplication. What does this mean? Acquiring a new customer. Let's say that you are in an Uber. I've had this happen multiple times where I was in an Uber. I pull out peppermint and I start to breathe it in, breathe the drop in. I rub it on my neck, and that smell of peppermint fills the car. And the Uber driver has said, "What is that?" Like, this is a product category, my friends, that creates curiosity in others. They open the door as many times to ask you how to use it. So he's like, "What is that?" And I would say, "Oh, this is peppermint." And I immediately rub a drop on his shoulders, put a drop in his hands for him to breathe in, create an experience there. And he would, if he says, "Wow, this is amazing, I'd love to buy these products," I simply send him my referral link. When he buys, I have acquired a new customer. doTERRA pays me a commission for that. Now, that's not the only way. That's just a random example of how this can fit into your everyday life. We've enrolled 6 Uber drivers to date, just by doing that and having normal conversations. But most people, they hold little workshops in their home where they teach their friends, family, and peers and community members about the benefits of the products. And then again, you have them use your referral link when they want to buy, and you've acquired a customer. The second thing that we get paid for is retention. And I've been saying on these calls that doTERRA will honor the fact that you referred a customer even beyond the grave. I've been saying you're in a box under the ground. And doTERRA, if your customers are still ordering, doTERRA is going to pay your kids. And someone said, "Matt, that's a little too morbid." So I'm going to change it and say, you could be a spirit up in heaven, and your kids are still going to be getting paid from the work that you did while you were here. That's pretty powerful. So every time your customers come back to reorder, you are going to earn a commission for doing that. Then the third thing that we get paid for is duplication. Similar to in the corporate world, where you have a VP of sales, you have the managers, the supervisors, and the salespeople. The managers are going to earn a percentage on the production of the people that they're managing. The supervisors are going to earn a percentage of the production of the sales team that they're managing. And then the vice president, he's going to earn on the whole sales of the company, right? Similarly here, you are able to build a team, and you're going to earn a small percentage of the sales of the entire team that you're able to train and help to grow. And here's what that looks like. So when you become an elite with us, and you don't have to memorize all of this, okay? Today's just an overview and kind of showing you the possibilities. But you become an elite when you, with your team, have 3,000 in sales. That might be 15 people that are ordering $200 a month in supplements, oils, protein, and all the different things that we sell. Um, and when you reach that level of elite, on average, you're going to earn about $400 to $500 per month. Okay, pretty exciting. Premier is 5,000 in sales. You're going to earn about $1,000 a month. Silver, you help 3 people get to that level of elite. You're training them, supporting them, teaching them everything that's worked for you. They get to elite, you become a silver, and you can see the averages there. Now, anytime that you're brand new at a level, you'll be at that lower end of the averages, and over time, you'll make your way up into the higher end of those averages. But you'll see that there's no cap to where you can go. And I'm curious, who do we have on this call? Do we have any elites? Do we have any premiers? Do we have any silvers? Do we have any golds? Do we have any diamonds? Let me know in the chat really quick. Yeah, this is in US dollars. So this is going to be different for every country. And we have graphs like this for every country that we work in. Amanda's an elite. Pam's a diamond. Leanne's a gold. Amy's a premier. Suzanne's a diamond. Wendy's a premier. Jen's a platinum. Jenica's a gold platinum. Elite. iPhone's elite. So this is not a small number of people that have achieved these levels of success, right? Sandy's a diamond. So anyone that I always say that I cannot promise you how fast you'll grow through these levels. But I promise you that if you come in, you get started, and you keep going, eventually you can reach any of these levels that you would like. The sky truly is the limit. My wife and I, 13 years later, we've been able to get all the way beyond, presidential diamond. So it takes the higher the level, the longer the level, the longer it's going to take, obviously, and the more work while you're spending that time in as well. But let me give you a little overview of the specifics of the commissions. And you don't have to memorize all of this. Again, we have videos that walk you through even in more detail, but I just want to show you the concept. So let's say that Uber driver that I mentioned got so excited about the peppermint, and I put a sample of VMG, our vitamins, minerals, and greens product in his hand, and say, hey, try this when you get home. And then I contact him to follow up, and he says, I want to buy a kit. I need the oils, I need the supplements. Tell me how to get it. And I refer him to buy this kit. So I send him my referral link. He buys the kit. I'm going to earn 20% for acquiring this new customer, and it's 20% of this PV amount. Again, this is going to be a little bit different depending on the country that you're in, but just to keep it simple, I'll show you the example in US dollars. This would be $44 that you would earn for referring someone to buy this kit. Then let's say that Uber driver, he loves the products and he goes home and he talks to his wife. No, let's say he talks to his mother, and his mother, says, "Oh, I would love to try these products." So he sends his referral link. You're supporting him, teaching him how to find that link, maybe helping walk him through because he's new, which products would be the best for his mom. Because you support him in supporting her, you're going to earn 10% when he makes that sale. So you would earn $22 when he sells that same kit to someone else. Then let's say she refers someone else on the third level, you earn 5%. So you can imagine, like, my wife and I, after a decade in this company, we've referred hundreds of people now to doTERRA. Anytime one of them signs up another customer, guess what? We earn 10%. Even if we've never met that person, because we were supporting the team. So this is our acquisition bonus, and already starts to get a little bit into duplication and leadership as well. The second bonus that's really valuable to learn about is the power of three bonus. This is our first retention-based bonus, where when you have a group of 500 in volume from customers, this might be one super customer buying 500 a month, and we do have customers that do that. Or it might be 10 customers that are just ordering, one or two products, and they're ordering 50 a month. Any combination that gets you to 500 in loyalty volume, you will earn a $50 bonus. And you can even double this depending on where you're at in the world. The amount's going to be slightly different with the conversion rates, but you can earn double. Okay. Second level, you can earn 250. You can even get a bonus and a boost on this level as well, as you help three people to have their own loyal customer group, right? And then as you continue to duplicate and 9 people have their own pod of loyal customers, you can earn 1250. So I'm curious, show me in the chat if you've earned the first level, put level 1 or level 2 or level 3, if you've ever earned this bonus. Okay, Millie's done the 250, Pam's done the third level, Amanda's done the second, third level, third level, third level. So again, this is super achievable and possible for everyone to do. Take some time to build out that third level for sure, but it's absolutely achievable. And think about when you look at money, money by itself is cold. It doesn't really touch us. It's the question is, what would you do with that income? Like if I were to put $1,250 in your bank account every single month, what would you do with that money? Would you pay off your mortgage a little bit faster? Would you use it to put your kids in a different school? Would you use it to buy a new car? Like, what would that money do for you today? When you attach significance to it, that's when that why will drive you to actually, get it done. Now, we also have another retention bonus, which will become kind of what we call your freedom bonus long term. It'll be the most valuable to you. It's our unilevel, and we pay between 3% and 7% on any customer that's in your organization between the second and the seventh level. This is really, really powerful. This means like an average of about 5% on all of the sales. So imagine if your team is doing 10,000 in sales. Wow, that starts to get pretty exciting. You're getting 5%. And this is forever, right? Even beyond your life. So pretty fun. Then we have a leadership bonus, which as you are a good leader, you take care of people and you start to help them achieve their goals, you will grow in rank and you can earn at Premier 200 a month. These are conservative numbers that I've put here for these leadership monthly bonuses. I always like to set a lower expectation, and then you'll be happy when a little bit more comes. So this is more on the low side of the average, but it does change monthly because the company is essentially taking 8% of the global sales and dividing it up between the leaders. And they have this whole share structure, which is, you can see here is a little complex, but not too bad to understand if you watch a video on it. But silver 350 a month about, gold is about 1100, platinum 2100, diamond 3500, 10,000 for blues, and about 20, 25, 26,000 per month for presidentials. So it takes time to get to those higher levels, but that's a pretty powerful monthly addition to the bonus as well. Okay. So the biggest question is for those of you that are getting started, what does it look like in the beginning? Okay, I see the big vision. I see what this can become. I see how if we help a lot of people with these big problems and the solutions that, we're going to benefit. But let's take it from the big vision to the minute, like the daily steps of what should I focus on. This is where I would put my focus if you're just getting started today. Your first big goal is to become a director by doing these three things. One, you want to have a rhythm and a cadence of bringing in 5 new customers per month personally. This you could do by hosting one event per month. Honestly, if you're inviting 10 people to come and check out the products, you're probably going to have 5 people join. It might be sitting down with people one-on-one. It might be promoting on social media. Anything that you choose to do to bring in 5 customers per month. Then the second part of this goal is people that you've enrolled in the past as customers. You want at least 500 in loyalty volume coming in from them. So maybe 5 customers ordering 100 so that you have the power of 3, that retention bonus. And then you're looking for 3 people that would like to get their own products for free or even build a business with you. And when you do this, you're going to earn $200 a month. You would earn 200 or 100 from that fast start bonus, 100 from the power of 3. And we see people doing this very, very, very quickly. Now you need to order $100 in product to qualify for your personal commissions. So at this level, you're already in profit. Your products are totally free, and you're earning some extra cash at a very, very beginning level. Okay. My second goal, if I were you, would be to help those 3 people that you've identified that want to either get their products for free or build a business with you. You help them reach that first goal. So their products are free. They're getting a little bit of profit, right? Coming into the bank account every month. When you do that, you become an elite. You've got over 3,000. It's actually, if you follow this exact scenario, it's over 4,000 in sales a month happening. And here's what you would earn: 250 from the fast start bonus. 500 from the power of 3 in the boost if you live in the US. If you live elsewhere, it's a little bit different. Unilevel, 125. In other words, $875 is on the table for you as an elite. Now, again, if you look back at the graph I showed you, the average elite is earning $400 or $500 per month. So why is this higher? Because I'm showing you a path to maximize your earnings. The truth is, most people, they're not going to bring in 5 customers every single month. They might bring in 2, you might bring in 3, but keep your target focused on what is going to maximize your results, and that's at least 5. Okay, for me, our goal is 5 to 10 personally, and we do that consistently every single month. Okay, goal number 3 is then maintain that same rhythm of 5 new customers per month. Now you want a little bit of extra. I guess we had extra on the last one too. It's 800 in loyalty volume for both goal 2 and goal 3. And you're helping 3 people achieve that second goal. Imagine how excited 3 people would be to be with you and earning $400, $500, $800 a month. So fun. When you help them achieve that goal, then you achieve your goal. You become a silver. Okay. At this level, if you follow this exact pattern of structure, you could earn $2,700. Now, this is maximizing for that power of 3 bonus that I showed you. So it might take a little bit of extra time. The truth is that a brand new silver typically earns about 1,200. But if you follow this plan, there's 2,700 on the table for you as a silver. Okay. So really, really, this is where it starts to get really fun and really exciting. You're not working by yourself. You've got a group of people that are loving the products and loving the plan and running with you. Okay, so just to summarize the income, the sky's the limit. You can take this as far as you want to take it. If you just want a little bit of extra income, do that. If you want an extraordinary income, then work hard to make that happen. And we have a path no matter what your goals are. So an important thing is going to be to get with the person that invited you here tonight after this call and just tell them what your desire is. Like recently we rewatched the movie The Notebook, right? And it's like, What do you want? That's the big question. What do you want? And so when you know what you want, we can give you a plan to get to where you want to go. If you don't know what you want, you're just going to flounder, right? Okay. Now, the thing I always like to end on is impact part two. The impact goes beyond simply when you join us, goes beyond simply the benefits for yourself financially and the deep benefits of helping people in their health. Also, we have this amazing sourcing system where the raw materials for our essential oils come in many instances from third world countries, and not just third world countries, but I'm talking the poorest parts of the poorest countries in the world, where by sourcing directly with farmers and not having corporate farms, we are lifting so many people out of poverty. Okay. On average, are the people collecting the raw materials for our essential oils are earning 5 to 10 times more than they were when they were growing or collecting other cash crops. This literally means that when you buy or sell an essential oil, it's not an exaggeration to say that it's a humanitarian act. Okay. Um, we have currently over 120,000 people in this category that own their own land or are, if it's the example of Copaiba, they're going into the Amazon and they're collecting sustainably a Copaiba resin. And when you count their families, this means that over 500,000 people have food on their table because we choose to source in this way instead of just buying up farms and doing it the easy way. This we call co-impact sourcing, and it's one of the most beautiful things about what we do. We also work in a really sustainable way where in every place, this is an example of Hawaii where we've planted over 600,000 trees. It's the largest reforestation project in the United States, I think in the world, maybe. And so we always work in a sustainable way. Now, my personal experience, I've had the privilege of going to Guatemala and seeing the 5,000 families that benefit from cardamom growth of the cardamom essential oil. I've had the privilege of walking into the Amazon and seeing these families that benefit from Copaiba. Had the privilege of going to Kenya, and this picture is from Kenya, where we met this family, and this is Samuel. We drove into Lunga Lunga, and we see his little geranium farm, right? And I always joke, geranium is my least favorite oil. I don't like the smell. The benefits are amazing, and the women will argue with me because it's amazing for hormonal health and hair growth and skin and so many amazing things. But I wasn't a fan, so I never really talked about it until I met Samuel. And when I saw and learned that his oldest daughter is the first person in the history of his family to go to university, that his youngest daughter is also getting an education, it's because of this small plot of geranium. Okay, I have become addicted to talking about geranium because it is a humanitarian act when we sell this product. It's 5,000 families just in this region of Lunga Lunga, Africa, that depend and that earn again 5 to 10 times more than what they would typically earn by working directly with us. And it's amazing how we are preserving agricultural traditions and lifting people out of poverty. So I don't know why you came here today. If it's the income that calls to you, or the lifestyle, or the impact, maybe you already have a great income in your life and you just want to be a part of something meaningful. Maybe you work for an awesome nonprofit and you have a great impact in the world, but your income needs a little elevation, or maybe it's the lifestyle that you're looking for. Whatever it is, I promise you'll find it here in doTERRA. And what I encourage you to do next is reach out to the person or the not actually the person that invited you here today. They're going to reach out to you. They're going to call you hopefully right after this call. And they're going to say, "Hey, what did you like the most about what you saw? What did you like the most about what you saw? What do you want?" Right? What would you want? Are there products that called to your attention? Is there something about the business that caught your attention? And they're going to help you with the first step. If you haven't done it yet, the first step is to get some of the products. Start using them for yourself. Feel the benefit for yourself. Um, and then we have an entire system and plan to help you build a business if you decide to do that. So they're going to ask you, what did you like the most? And they're going to help walk you through what the best products might be for you, or the best support plan would be for you to move forward and start to change your life. And it's been an honor and a privilege to be with all of you tonight and present this information. I hope that it sparked something inside of you. I hope that it has you at least curious to ask some more questions. And don't be afraid of asking all of the hard questions, like all of the questions that come up. Ask those to the person that invited you here tonight. You're going to find answers that impress you and inspire you. And I feel confident that you're going to find in doTERRA a better balance between income, lifestyle, and impact than you'll find doing anything else in the world. So thank you guys for letting me share a little bit. Thanks for all of those in the chat who had some amazing, amazing experiences. And I will be doing this call again 2 times next week on Thursday. And so even if you're here for the first time and you're like, wow, I need to get other people in front of this information, next week is your opportunity. We're going to be here again. So lock in with us, and we look forward to serving you and seeing you impact the world in a positive way. All right. Thank you guys so much. Good to be with you always. It's the same Zoom link. Yes, every week it's the same Zoom link. There are certain weeks where we don't do it, so make sure to check in with whoever invited you here today. All right. Take care, my friends. Have an amazing evening, and we'll talk soon. Bye for now.